What I often do is I do these 1 minute or 2 minute speeches where they talk to their partner on the topic of today's lesson. And what they say is not that important. I don't know what I'm talking about. The teacher's asked me to talk about the news, so I have to keep talking for 2 minutes. So I do a little demonstration and I say, it could be like this, it could be 1 minute, go. Oh, I don't know what to say. The teacher's told me to talk about shopping today, and so I'm not sure what I can say about shopping, except that I went shopping yesterday and I didn't like it. It was too crowded, and shopping is a word. The last 3 letters are ing, and well, Hong Kong is a great shopping centre, and there's lots of things you can buy. I remember I bought something 2 days ago and it was broken, so I took it back, and I remember it was, and then they start talking about shopping, from just talking about, I don't want to talk about shopping, the teacher has told me to talk about shopping, so you just say, don't worry, just keep going, and that energy starts building up, and it takes them from 0 to action, moving, and that energy to start the lesson. There is no proper rule, but so they can be as deviant as they want. It's simply the case of speaking in those early stages. So you could have some sort of deviancy, which is perfect. So they can start going off, oh, this is rubbish, shopping, why should I talk about shopping? I have no idea what I can say about shopping, except that shopping's rubbish. And well, they're talking about shopping, and they got that energy going for the start of the class. It's pretty much shown, it's proven that if you get the body moving, then the mind kind of gets in the same energized state. So you can take anything, turn it into something physical, and then you've got some real energy going in the body, and that seems to affect the energy in the thinking and everything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you want to say something funny.
And you can do that with everything. So I do it with students' corrections. So I mark their work. The next lesson I have their work broken into strips of paper, and a student from each team come and finds the teacher somewhere hiding in the classroom, sitting at the back, collect a strip, and then come back and correct the work, and then come back to the teacher. If it's correct, I'll give them the second strip. It seems like, well, why bother? Why don't you just give them out the 10 corrections and do it yourself? But it's the energy, it's them moving, out of the chairs, going to somewhere, and then coming back again. Well, today's subject is all about current issues that are happening in Hong Kong and around the world. So it's a very large brainstorming activity. There's always a chance to keep the energy going by maintain a sort of a light-heartedness in the class, and that's tricky if you do feel a bit down. You've worked for the whole day and this is the last lesson and you're exhausted. I sometimes do like a little meditation thing where I sit down quietly for 5 or 10 minutes and I sit and think about the students, and you kind of just wish them you wish they have a nice time in your class. You just kind of generate a nice feeling towards the students, and that surprisingly has an effect. I don't know how, whether it's my attitude but something very subtle comes about. You've always had these classes where you've dreaded going in, and that dread sometimes unfolds as something does go wrong because you're in a negative mood, you're in a sort of combat zone. You think, oh no, I've got to get through this. But if you kind of gradually generate some positive feeling, it's worthwhile. I think so.
Yeah.